another daily watches video. Of course, we are going over the euro-US dollar first. Now, what I said last week finally played out. So what we saw during the NFP is that the euro-US dollar finally made a push back up in the supply. We already laid this out in previous videos last week. Currently, I'm expecting a lower lows to happen on euro-US dollar, and overall, if we go to the daily time frame, we can get a little bit of a bigger push. So what is happening now is price took out liquidity from all these highs. It went up our daily supply stacked with a weekly, and currently it is making a steep sell-off from our 4-hour supply in here. Now, most likely this low is going to be taken out and price will move further in this demand zone. Now, I'm not expecting an immediately a big move back to the downside to break this trend line, but it could happen long term. For now, I'm expecting at least this low to be broken. Price going a little bit lower in this daily stack with like 4-hour demand below in there. And probably what will happen from here is the price will stay in this range up here a little bit, and hopefully it can finally break this trend line. This trend line is located pretty far from the current price, so it will take a while for price to make a reversal. Currently, the overall time frame is still bullish, but I'm expecting more bearish pressure now, especially if you look at the weekly. I think price can even be heading all the way to the 1.09 and 1.095, the levels in here. So for now, I think for this week, the euro dollar is going to be bearish. I think we're going to close the Monday bearish, so that usually means that we get more bearish pressure throughout the week. Now, also, if we go to the DXY, the dollar index, what we can see is price made a beautiful rejection from our demand zone on the daily and our demand zone on the 4-hour in here. So in the previous videos, we already laid these zones out. We had a beautiful demand zone in here. Currently, price is flying from there. Now, because the market is shifting bullish, I'm expecting higher highs, price entering into a new bullish phase on the dollar and hopefully breaking this trend line long term. So that's what I'm expecting for the dollar. Now, also, if you go to the AUDUSD dollar, we can see similar scenario. Price went into our supply zone, and currently it is making that steep sell off like we said last week. Currently for AUDUSD dollar, I'm watching this demand zone to see if we can get like a rejection, like a pullback back to the upside. But overall, it looks nice. Like we took out the liquidity in here from all these moves in there. Price visited back into our supply, and currently it is dropping from there. So if we go to the weekly now, price can be heading back into the lower range. So on the weekly, we are of course in a range. So if we take our range tool in here, we simply draw it from the peaks until the bottoms, then price can still make a steep drop. Now we got the 0.5 level together with our daily demand zone located in here, but after that, after price it hangs around this level, I think we can drop a little bit further, go back to the 0.25, maybe eventually even fill this wick. So that's mainly what I'm watching now for AUDUSD dollar, a further move back to the downside. GBPUSD dollar, similar scenario. I'm watching further moves back to the downside. It is of course again a daily stacked with a weekly. So on the lower time frames, we can definitely spot some entries. Now on the 4-hour, it looks pretty bearish. We already took out the low. Now if you go to the 15-minute, there isn't really an entry right now that is provided to us. But if we go to the 15-minute, we see a change of character and a break of structure in here, and we might watch this zone. So if we can draw this one, we might watch this zone for a further continuation move. Besides that, of course, this wasn't really tradable on the 15-minute. This was the NFP last Friday, of course, a lot of heavy moves. Then during the night, like when price opened today, then we saw this drop off, making price drop further. For now, I'm expecting more continuation on. Now also regarding NZDUSD dollar, we had our supply zone in here. Price dropped from our daily supply level, and currently I'm also expecting price to drop a little bit further on NZDUSD dollar to go back in that lower range. So overall, for most pairs, I'm watching the same things. For gold, I'm expecting another move up actually, because price is still very bullish. Of course, this doesn't really correspond with the DXY dropping, but overall we can easily take out the liquidity in here. What I prefer to see though is these lows in here being taken out first, price going back in this demand level, and after that breaking back to the upside, making another all-time high. So these scenarios is what I'm basically watching. Like I don't really like to trade this because we are just stuck in a top range. So most likely we will break the lows, visit demand, and maybe fly from there. That's it. Going to the Bitcoin, because the Bitcoin made a further drop. Currently, it made a drop back to the levels we anticipated. We came back in at these demand levels. We filled the wick a little bit. Now, if we go to the daily time frame, we can see it a little bit more clear. We came from our supply level. We visited 0.25 level again, and hopefully we can make a rejection from this level, from the 0.25 level, and from the newly created supply. So we have a small supply zone up here, mainly because we made a change of character in here. So we have a supply zone. Hopefully we can visit back in there and then make a further drop that can bring us further to the downside. So that's mainly what I'm watching for this week. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you again tomorrow. Ciao.